Peace on earth, folks. This is your boy Gemini Moon, the Star Seed Healer, coming at you with an energetic update regarding the full moon in Scorpio taking place on today, Thursday, May 7th at 17 degrees of Scorpio, opposite the sun in Taurus at 17 degrees. Let's get into this energy, people. I'm very, very passionate when it comes to talking about the moon cycles, the moon signs. These are processes, energetic processes, spiritual processes that help us to grow on our chosen path. These are processes of renewal of the mind, of the body, of the soul. The moon rules over our emotions. It rules over our memory, our dreams, our instincts. The moon is our signal, our gateway to understanding higher consciousness and how to integrate the subconscious with what is conscious, to transform ourselves, to transform our very being from the inside out. So we have the moon in the fixed water sign of Scorpio, which is the second water sign in the zodiac wheel. Wow. And we have this happening right after the node shift from Cancer, Capricorn into Gemini and Scorpio. So there is a big closeout. This is a big point of closure, of completion of a life cycle, of a span of time. So in discussing Scorpio energy, Scorpio energy represents the eighth house of death, the eighth house of shared resources, of mysteries, of hidden, of secrets, of the occult. Scorpio is a sign of magnetic appeal. It is very, very possessive, sexual, a sign that deals in deep, hidden, mysterious processes in our life. Things that generally are seen as taboo, seen as forbidden. Generally things that are very hard to look at, that are not considered the norm of everyday conversation, is what Scorpio deals with. So it's very, very hidden and private, darker processes. With that being said, this is a full moon that can be very, 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 I'm seeing the word erroneous. It can be very, very radical, very, very unhinging, very, very unsettling within its nature. Scorpio, very, very much a sign of sharp, very, very hard confinements, very, very hard face-to-face situations, very, 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 very much about the soul and the inner dimensions of the soul, the psyche, the subconscious mind. And so what Scorpio deals in is the past. It deals in long drawn out processes within our lives that really, really do hold weight as absolute truths, or things that give us an outlook on life that can be very harsh in a way, or just very, very penetrating, gut-wrenching, soul-penetrating processes. And I mean this to say, whenever you're dealing with finance, whenever you're dealing with debt, taxes, leases, contracts, even illnesses, diseases, obsessions, these are things that Scorpio corresponds to and rules over, are these long hidden processes of debt, karmic, um, karmic contracts, taking out a lease, getting loans, and, you know, you may be finding it hard to pay back a loan, to a landlord, things like that. Things like that. Scorpio deals over those things that require intense commitment to transformation and to see things through to the end, to go the distance. Okay, so what I want to say about this full moon from my heart to yours is that this full moon really is about so much more than just finding out hidden things in relationships. A lot of that is going to happen. But I really do believe this Scorpio full moon is a catalyst for change. It's almost like forming a new mental picture is what this full moon in Scorpio is asking us to do, is helping us to do, is to eliminate and alleviate certain pressures, to alleviate certain emotional strongholds and certain ways of being that don't serve us, and that it really will help us to rewire our brain to formulating a vision. The thing about Scorpio energy, the thing about water energy is that water really, really is our memory. We hold water in our bodies. We're made up of 77% water. And what is contained in that water is our DNA and our muscle memory, are the memories, are the neurological functions that trigger memory. You know what I mean? Trigger memory. And it causes us to feel away, to feel things that aren't even happening. You know what I'm saying? And this is the thing about Scorpio energy. This is the thing about water, is that water is highly sensitive, highly psychic energy. It's highly much dealing with the subconscious. So, we're dealing with a little bit of psychology here. We're dealing with psychological breakdowns, illuminating certain habits or forms of subconscious behavior that we don't generally look at, or we generally don't take into account when we're making judgments or when we're dealing with another person. Things that we don't, it's not face value, it's not surface. Scorpio does not deal in surface. So what we have to do during this full moon is really ask ourselves what it is we desire. What it is we desire to see change, and how can we become the change? What is it in our subconscious mind? What is blocking us from fully embodying the change and fully embodying the vessel or the being that we know we are to be, to change our lives, to have peace at this time? This full moon really is like being in between worlds. It's about fully integrating change, and it's about fully acknowledging the changes that need to be made in your environment in order to raise your vibration to the next level and to embody a stronger archetype. Because the thing about Scorpio energy is that Scorpio does deal in absolutes. It deals in very extreme habitations. It deals in extreme environments of life and death. That's a very big theme of Scorpio, is death and endings and karma. What are the things that you hold in place? That hold in place. What are those powers of control that you hold in place? For that give meaning in your life. What is the meaning of those things that you hold, the things you hold on to? Scorpio deals a lot with grudges. Scorpio energy can hold grudge, can deal in betrayal, can deal with sneakiness, secrets, all these things, money, the loss of money. All of these things are processes that Scorpio deals in. Things that create strong emotional bonds, that can cause anger, jealousy. Those are things that Scorpio deals with, these very subconscious, darker, hidden aspects of our our human psyche, that once they're understood and processed, they bring us into a state of personal power and freedom, which is Sagittarius, freedom, breaking free of our limits, deep reflection. These are things that Scorpio deals in: reflection, dreams, thinking of the past, you know, your closest relatives, your closest friends, your closest, most intimate relationships are being tested and tried right now. And it's being asked of you just to trust yourself and trust the process during this time. This is really a time where we have to release and let go and understand that the universe has a way, and has a way that is not our own. This is about really releasing your own understanding. You know, this is about allowing the process to burn you up so that you can be made even much more refined, come out like pure gold during this time. The strength of Scorpio is the fact that it can go through extreme changes, extreme life or death situations, extreme loss, and still keep its its core nature, which really is that of strength, which is that of endurance. Scorpio is all about endurance, enduring hard processes, very hard to face, not simple, subtle, but very, very deep, harsh, pulsating, penetrating processes. So I keep saying the word process because ultimately Scorpio is about a process. It's the process of life, death, and rebirth. And being able to survive through those tests, being able to survive through betrayal, being able to survive through death and loss, and to transform yourself through those situations. This full moon is going to ask that we really get real with ourselves. And it's going to ask that we truly imagine a life where we can be free, where we can have more health and union and more trust amongst one another. How can we build a society where peace and truth and trust reign? What can we rebuild on, and what needs to be eliminated and destroyed? Scorpio is ruled by Mars, the planet of action, aggression, anger, elimination, war. Pluto, the sign of rebirth, transformation, hidden, purification, healing. So it's about really, really cutting away at the things that have shaped our environment, that have shaped our nature. Because see, Scorpio is opposite Taurus, which is all about our values. It's all about love, beauty, comfort, relationships, money, our culture, our investments. So where Taurus is love that is earned, that is like received, loved, earned, possessed. Scorpio is love that is desired, that is lusted for. So those are things that Scorpio deals with, very deeply sexual, very deeply possessive, very deeply sensual. These are things that Scorpio deals with. So there is this big energy, this big like arousal, this big buildup, this feeling of needing to release, needing to recreate. It's a sign of alchemy. change, making sure our needs are met, on a sensual subconscious level. So this is a time to really, really get on your psychic shit. Get on your psychic shit to the time to do deep research. A time to move by the spirit. Be moved by the nature of things. You'll be moved by the elements. To dance, a time to chant, a time to really, really build a sense of protection in yourself, build a sense of even uniformity, build a sense of like order that will help you to keep and lock down a vision. We are in the North Node, South Node, Gemini, Sagittarius axis now, and this Gemini North Node is asking us to embrace the unknown. While this full moon is helping to close out the things that we've held as truth, what we've known, what has controlled and held bonds, emotional bonds on our nature. Scorpio is not a sign necessarily of freedom. It's a sign of fixed. Fixed. It's very fixed. So how can we get loose? How can we shake things up? How can we create radical change in our lives? Because now this is the time for it. This is the time to really unveil and to deepen the relationship with spirit. This is that time. So I know I said a lot in this. I presented you guys with a lot of themes, a lot of stuff to think about in your life. And I hope I touched on something that gave you some insight as to what you can start to pay attention to within your environment, within your own headspace, so that you can start to make the changes and offer up those those almost sacramental, because that's another thing about Scorpio is sacrifice. It's about sacrifice and going the distance through sacrifice. That space in between, that watery vessel, that dark hidden unknown tapped potential, that we're in a time of untapped potential, potential that has been building up, and now it's ready to really emblazon and form into this mental picture. This Scorpio full moon is a catalyst for change. It is guiding us between the worlds and helping us to really form a new vision, a new mental picture, so we can start going towards our highest vision, and really helping us to really, really release the weight of the past. Release the weight of the past, release the weight of old issues, memories, betrayals, losses, even death that needs not be something that where we don't need to operate from anymore. We don't need to operate from that space of longing for the past. It's time to break free of certain things. So this is Gemini Moon, the Starseed Healer. I hope that this was helpful for your journey, and I hope that you take this to the next level by asking yourself, hey, what can I let go? What can I sacrifice in order to have more of what I truly want? You have to figure out who it is you are and what it is you want for your life, what you need. What do you need and what do you need to eliminate for what is not needed, what is not necessary anymore. Scorpio is about cleansing, cleaning up, very much about eliminating trash, getting rid of things, for soul growth, for ascension. So peace on earth, you all, and have a great Scorpio full moon.